Hello, 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 hello. How you guys doing today? This is Mr. Finance, Keon Corner. How you guys doing today? Welcome to another great segment where I'm going to be talking about some really exciting things, bringing some simple understanding when it comes down to our finances, right? Because someone got to do it. Someone got to come here and tell you guys where to get the information. So, once again, name is Keon Corner of Mr. Finance. I'm here to talk about asset versus liabilities and why it's important for you to know the difference. And it's a big, big thing if you know the difference, because one of the things that many people do, they acquire a lot of liabilities, and they were presented to them as assets. So we got to talk about that. So the book of choice that I'm going to be talking about today is I'm using the workbook, right? And this is complimentary from our workshop. So this book is given out in our workshops. So I'm going to be talking from that book today, right? And then also I might even go in a little bit of understanding from the blue book as well, and all complimentary from our company as well and our workshops. So if you want to get a copy of these books and you like to be participating in our workshop, definitely hit me in the comments or send me an email at bshinerslegacymovement@gmail.com, or give me a call at 973-873-5977. So let's dive right into it, right? So many people, like I said, acquire a lot of liabilities and they think they're assets. Or many people may present them as their assets, and realistically, you're buying a liability. And many of us don't know what the difference is. And it's a big, big problem. Because if we understand what is the difference between the two, we will understand what do we want to take in and how we want to acquire these things, right? So let's talk about the first thing. What is an asset? All right? That's the first one. What is an asset? Well, it says here, an asset, something that has monetary value, right? So asset, to just make it simple for you, assets is something that put money in your pockets, right? Just to simplify it down, right down the middle. Assets put money in your pocket, okay? Now, what is a liability? A liability is a claim on your assets. What does that mean? To make it simple? Simple like this. Anything that takes money from your pocket is a liability, right? It's a liability. In some terms, they call it dependent because they don't want to be rude and call your kids a liability. So they call them dependent, right? Until they become of age to become independent. So that's a liability as well. And then we're going to talk about what is a net worth. Now, net worth is basically asset minus liabilities. Okay? That's what a net worth is. So basically, it's like this. Net worth is basically saying, I am worth $1 million with all the things that I own, right? And then you got to take in fact that minus what is the debt that I have out there. So then you minus whatever debt you have versus what you have that has value, and that is net worth, right? That is net worth, real net worth. Because some people just like to tell you that I own a house, I own this, all these things, and they tell you that's what it's worth if it's being sold, right? But when you really want to get a real net worth, you really got to acquire, you got to put together what's the debt, what is the value, minus that, and that will give you the real net worth if you ever look into things like that, right? So here's a lot of things that I've heard many people have always say, like, you hear real estate agents, right? A lot of them will tell you that your house is an asset and it has equity and all these different things. And many people never understand what it really means. And they get fall up in this whole real estate market, and everybody want to become a real estate agent all of a sudden. And not knocking anybody, but I'm just saying you got to understand. All right. So now when you become a homeowner, now here's something I want you to know. A house can be an asset only when two things happen, right? First, a house paid off and you have someone living in it and they're paying your rent You know, then that's an asset. Okay? Then it's an asset because it's generating cash flow to you. If you're living in it and it's paid off, the only time it becomes an asset is because of the monetary value of it. So then you can sell it and hope, based on the market value, that you could get gains. Okay, if you sell your house in the down market, you're losing money. Then unless you bought in like 1970s and now selling in the 2000s, then you're walking away with a lot of value, right? So that's just something you got to keep in mind. Now, what I'm going to do, I'm going to go down the board and talk to you and tell you about what is asset versus liabilities. Okay? So let's start with real estate. Now, real estate, your first mortgage, your second mortgage, a line of credit, or rentals, those are all liabilities. Why? Because remember what I told you. Liabilities are things that take money out of your pocket. You got to pay somebody to acquire these things or to maintain these things. So that's a liability, right? Cars and boats. Cars depreciate over time, right? And if you're renting a car or a boat or whatever, these things depreciate. So what does that mean? Or if you're paying payments on a car, it's a liability. It's not an asset. It's a liability, especially when you drive that car right off the lot. The value dropped tremendously. There's only a few cars that hold values. Only a few. Like a Rolls Royce Phantom, those cars hold value. Ferraris hold values, right? I think McLaren holds some value as well. So it's only a few cars that hold true value in them. How about the fact that you're checking, right? Here's a big one. Your checking and savings account, right? Checking and saving accounts. Most people would think your checking and savings account is assets, right? Realistically, they can be assets. But you got to remember, some banks have fees. And some banks have monthly fees that is tied to you having an account with them. So you got to be very particular and very wise when you're choosing these company or banking system to put your money, because it could really become a liability because they could take money from you. And in those vehicles, your money is taxable money, right? So I'm going to read down the list, which is taxable money. Now, checking, savings, money market, stocks, options, bonds, funds, CDs, right? Most of these things are subject to being taxed, right? So it could be a liability later on, right? But in most cases, people put their money there. So it's kind of like it's leaning towards an asset, but depending on where you put it, it could be a liability because it could be taking money from you little by little, right? How about qualified money? 401ks, 457s, right? Now, are these vehicles liabilities or asset? Once again, people will tell you that your 401ks, your 457s, and stuff like that, your 403bs, that they may tell you that, hey, this is an asset. But let me tell you something. After you add up the management fees, all the different type of fees that are associated with it, plus the performance of the market and the market fluctuation, this thing's a liability. It is constantly taking money from you because they require a management fee to run this thing, and each month there's a fee that tied to it. So realistically, it is a liability. How about your pension? Right? Your pension is more of an asset. Right? Your pension is more of an asset because it's designed to give you money based on the years of service and salary level that you worked at your job. So it's an asset that's giving you money, right? Asset. Also, a traditional IRA. Now, these come with fees, right? IRAs and annuities and so on. All these vehicles that I just talked about, even a Roth IRA, they have fees. Now, the good thing about some of them is that they come with safety, right? Like traditional IRAs, they have a cap and a floor, right? Or some people like to call them fixed index. They have a cap and a floor, which mean that you can't earn up to a certain amount, and there's a guaranteed floor on the bottom that won't make you lose money. All right. So some of them could be considered as a asset, depending on, like I said, it depends on how you put the money. That's the biggest thing about the asset and liabilities, right? Now, here's some things about non-qualified money, right? Non-qualified money, annuity and life insurance cash value, these are assets. These are assets because it gives you cash, all right? It gives you money. A matter of fact, even tax-free money, right? Like life insurance money, that is tax-free money that's given to you. The earnings are tax deferred, so that means they don't tax you on the gains. And when you need the money, you can take it out either through a tax-free withdrawal or a tax-free loan. So that's a good vehicle, right? That's a good vehicle. A lot of people don't know that. Like life insurance is probably one of the best assets. Did you know that if you put your child in a 529, right, it could actually affect his eligibility for him to get FAFSA, right? And then when you look at the FAFSA sheet and they ask for all the things that you have because they want to know what is an asset, because a 529 is considered an asset. Now, you notice they never mention life insurance. They never ask how much life insurance you have or what's the cash value in life insurance because it's not considered an asset, right, in the public eyes. But you know what? The cash value inside of it is a great way to acquire assets, okay? Now, coming down some more, it says here, credit cards and student loans. These things are liabilities. These are liabilities because it's taking money from you, right? You got to pay off your credit card. You have to pay off your student loan. These things are really, really liabilities, right? So just to sum up everything that we just covered a while ago, once again, liabilities are things that take money from you. So if you have anything that takes money from you, it's a liability. Anything that puts money in your pocket, like genuinely in your pocket, it's an asset, right? So you just gotta pay a lot close attention and be careful with these guys. I like to tell you that you could take the equity from your from inside your house and all these different things, because there's so much things that to explain with that. That would have to be on a different video, which I will probably do in the future or sometime soon. But just make sure that you stay on top of your thing and understand that assets put money in your pocket, liabilities take money from your pocket, net worth is when you minus your asset minus liabilities, that tells you net worth. So if you want to know what is your net worth, add up what you have that is monetary value, then minus how many debt you have outstanding, whatever that is, that's how much your net worth is. All right. So thank you for watching this video. Remember to share, subscribe, and like, and help a friend understand what this really means, and tag somebody. Leave a comment below. Let me know what you think. And also, I love feedbacks. And if you have something to add on that I didn't cover, please share it in the comment box. I appreciate it. Thank you guys for watching. Love you all. Be good. Be safe. My name is Mr. Finance, and I'm out.